Thank you so much, Professor Makoha, for the excellent presentation. You may stop screen sharing so that we may proceed to the next session. Once again, we appreciate you, and we are proud to be part of this journey. We like the work that you're doing, and we look forward to supporting you in this journey of transforming construction safety in Kenya. So for the participants who are just joining us, we encourage you to type any questions that you may have to Professor Makoha and the panelists who will be presenting in the panelist discussion. So in case you have any questions, you may type on the Q&A tab or on the chat so that we can be able to collate them and present them to the panelists and to all the presenters as we go ahead with the presentation. So we are delighted this afternoon to have panelists who are professionals in construction and also in safety, who will be talking to us with regards to our topic today. So we will be focusing on several areas. We'll be focusing on the future skills for safety in the construction industry. We'll be focusing on the area of policy and partnerships that help us to promote safety in construction. We'll also be focusing on the role and mandate of organizations management in the team of safety leadership in terms of safety leadership. And finally, we'll be looking at the safety considerations. So we are going to go to the panel discussions, but we are going to introduce our panelists as we tackle the questions in order to save on time. So I have the pleasure to introduce our first panelist. He's Mr. Leonid Ashindu. He is the Principal Administrative Officer of the Teacher Service Commission Headquarters, the Clerk of Works, Occupational Safety and Health. He's also the chairperson of the Institute of Clerk of Works and has 12 years experience in construction management. Thank you so much, Mr. Leonid, for taking time to attend the webinar this afternoon and to talk to us. The first question to you will be on future skills. And the question is, what are the future skills that shall be needed in the construction sector to ensure quality, safe and sustainable infrastructure? And how do we strengthen the skills capacity in our local context? So karibu sana, Leonid, to tackle that first question.
Thank you very much, Anjiru. I'll not introduce myself, you've done it well. I'll go straight to the question. We realize that safety concerns are a moving target. They are changing with the changing world. Therefore, as an industry, we need to be able to have ways on which to be able to impact various skills to be able to combat this menace on safety, accidents and diseases on site and the work environment as far as construction industry is concerned. Therefore, with the evolving world and the evolving the moving targets of safety concerns, I present that the most important skills, or the following are the important skills that we should be able to employ so as to reduce accidents, and not only accidents, but also occupational diseases on our construction sites. One, the most important thing is to reduce physical human interaction in our work processes and maximize on human interface, whereby we allow equipment or technology or machines to work for us. Therefore, in that case, you'll have reduced usage of human interaction, which may become sick or who may get accidents. Therefore, we have technologies such as robotics, AI, machine learning. Other than the technology itself, it's also important to appreciate that all the users, the public, the professionals involved, the contractors, should also be able to embrace these particular technologies. Therefore, there's a need for receptiveness of these new technologies and awareness to the general public. The other aspect, because we realize that all these things are working or happen in an environment, it is good that we appreciate the issue of environmental resilience or climate resilience, that all our projects during, post, and after construction, or pre, post, and post, during construction, should be able to be climate resilient. The designs After we do it, we shall ensure that either we go green, so that we ensure that even the inhabitants, because all places are workplaces. You finish your work with a residential building. After you hand over, there are workers who will be working there. Therefore, it becomes somebody says workplace. So let's think construction beyond the handing over of the project. Therefore, there's aspect of waste disposal during and post-construction. Materials, which materials are we using? Are we using environmentally friendly materials, locally available materials? Therefore, this need to train and be able to adapt to new materials that are environmentally friendly. Energy efficiency, we have realized that power costs are going very high, and power, some of them are non-renewable source of power. Therefore, we should be able to take care of our energy well. Water conservation, water is a very important resource, but at times it can be very scarce. And also can do green certification from the industry for projects or personalities that are doing well in that field. Therefore, you realize that this safety, the new technologies in safety, calls for people to work together, industry to work together, so that we can be able to realize safe working environment. The other aspect now, after introducing these new technologies, new skills, new training, the aftermath is that we should be able to live with them comfortably. In that case, we should impart skills on risk management. How do you associate? How do you operate a particular equipment, a particular machine, without it affecting you or minimizing the risks involved? And then also you realize that human beings are what we refer to as social beings. Therefore, if they work with machines alone, or you maximize use of machines, you find people becoming solitary. Therefore, there's need to impart mental health awareness skills so that they know how to relate with others also at the same time. All in all, we are supposed to now summarize it by saying that we should be able to impart safety culture skills to all and sundry. How do we do this? I believe for those who have been following Prof's presentation, he has given practical examples on how this SCE or SKI project or program has been able to employ some of these measures I'm going to talk about. One is the bold item on this is training and skill development. How do you achieve this? Through partnership with the industry, and this particular program is one of such kind of program where the trainees are taken to the industry and see what the industry is doing, so that they can be able to employ when they get out of the colleges, for example. Partnership with the academic institution, from curricular development to implementation of the curriculum, so should be a very important aspect of this particular safety skill, imparting of skills on safety. And then we also have apprenticeship programs where students live, or other practitioners can be able to learn on the job. You are an architect, you go to an industry where AI is being employed, or robotics, you learn on the job, you can be attached there for 3-4 months so that you understand it. You don't need to go to school for that matter. And then you have also workshops, as many as possible, seminars such as these ones, that can be able to be enlightened, so that people can be able to know how and where can they get such kind of skills. Finally, as I finish, you realize that all these aspects of emerging technologies and how to get the skills therein require a lot of investment. And my advice is, as practitioners, as people who are concerned with the matters construction, we should ensure or make sure that safety is quantified as an investment rather than as an expense. Because at the end of it all, you realize that you will save more money or more resources if you abide by the safety standards, or if you train and empower your people or the team that you work with on matter safety. And therefore, cost will become in handy, or other cost, you realize that there's a lot of cost involved in terms of investment in the technologies that we have talked about, training and capacity building of the team that is using this particular technology, and also monitoring and evaluation of the systems. So therefore, costing should start from the design point of view when the project is conceived, to the implementation, and thereafter in terms of environment protection and other view after handing over the project. And then maybe somebody will ask, who is this particular skills? Who can be able? Who are these skills for? These skills are for everybody, and from the presentation by Professor Makoha, you realize that he has enumerated all the stakeholders involved, ranging from the contractors, professionals, regulators, the academia, the trainees and the lecturers in the respective institutions. And then finally, the other aspect that he talked about is the society or the community, the general public. They should also be receptive to these particular skills and appreciate the safety concerns that being impacted by these particular skills. Thank you very much. Back to you, moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Leonid, for the excellent elaboration. And if you have a question to Leonid, as we said, kindly chat on the Q&A tab. We'll move on to the second, our second panelist of the day. And the second panelist of the day is Engineer Richard Okanga Anjichi. He's a professional civil engineer. He's a safety practitioner and a fire safety professional. He's also a practicing structural engineer and has previously served as a council member at the National Council of Occupational Safety and Health, and he's also an approved safety advisor and fire safety auditor by the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services. So engineer today will be talking to us about planning and design. And the question that I want you to tackle is how do we improve decisions on planning, design of construction projects in Kenya to enhance safety, and why engineers should be innovative to produce safer outcomes. While at it, you can tackle the role and the mandate of organizations, managers in safety, leadership, and decision making. You're most welcome, engineer.
Thank you, Grace, for that question about how we improve decisions within the construction sector as regards safety. In addressing this question, I would look at four aspects. The first aspect being the legal and statutory requirements for safety in Kenya. So if we start at the top, of course, the policy level, we have a 12-year policy, the Occupational Safety and Health policy, the national one. It has good things in there, but of course, safety has moved. The target keeps on moving. It needs to be revised. Regulations under the OSHA Act, that's 2007. We have the Building Operations and Works of Engineering Construction Regulations. That's a 4-decade-old regulation, which is specific to construction. And a lot has happened in the last 4 decades, and this needs to be overhauled completely. And below the regulations, we do not have any specific construction-specific codes and guides. So if these were developed, then you would find that we have a strong legal and policy framework on which safety can stand on. With this solid ground base, then we have clients or developers who want to put up projects, construction projects, coming up to develop client requirements. Currently in Kenya, you'd find we have a gap. Many clients do not provide minimum safety requirements, detailed ones, to designers, engineers, and consultants. And therefore, engineers, consultants, and designers focus on the technical aspects, on designing the actual project. But then the safety aspects are not taken care of in the design. So then this brings us to the third aspect, designing for safety. So if the legal requirements are clear, the clients have developed their minimum safety requirements, their safety design guides like fire safety design guidelines, then engineers, designers, and other consultants need now to design out the various hazards following these guides and the statutory requirements. So engineers and other consultants and designers need to appraise themselves on design for safety skills, so that in as much as they are designing the project itself, they are able to internalize how that project is going to be implemented and design out the various hazards that are going to be there during the construction phase. And this include aspects like the temporary works, which are the key sources or areas where accidents on construction sites usually happen. So when engineers are able to design this, or if it's a contractor designing, engineers are able to supervise this and approve those shop drawings, then it makes the whole temporary work safe, such as scaffolding, and we've had in the past, and Professor Makoha showed one photo where there was a collapse. Such collapses include scaffolding, and these are temporary works. And if we have these designs that are safe, hazard designed out, then we need to cost for safety. One of the gap identified in the research in the SKI project was lack of sufficient budget. Part of the reason for this is safety is not costed well in the bills of quantities. So most of the time it's a lump sum figure, and a contractor will put there a value against that that lump sum provision in the bills of quantity. Then in the implementation, it is found out that there are various provisions, now detailed ones, that the contractor needs to put in place, and yet the value they allocated on that safety is not sufficient. So quantity surveyors who prepare bills of quantities for building works, engineers who prepare bills of quantities for infrastructure works, need to appraise themselves with safety provisions. How do we put in safety during construction, so that they can develop detailed specifications, detailed bills of quantities that then contractors can quote against, so that during implementation there is sufficient funds to take care of these safety provisions. So as a recap, 4 items: having a well-grounded statutory regime, reviewing, overhauling where necessary, clients developing client requirements, detailed ones, and then this one leading to designers having designing out hazards, and then costing these safety provisions on the construction site. So that will be how I would look at it in 4 parts. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you so much, Engineer, for the elaborate answer. I want to take this opportunity to invite